Coming up on tonight's episode, we're talking marketing stunts, the best ones you remember and the bad ones you can't forget. It's going to be a memorable episode. Stick around because Up for Debate starts right now. This is Up for Debate, episode number 121, recorded September 13th, 2018. Marketing stunts. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by a man who could sell an Eskimo ice. It is Mr. Matt Mariani, the original marketer.
Hello, Mr. Sean, the viral marketer, the marketeer of viruses.
I put it this way. I have had actual bosses of mine ask how we can go viral, which was a very sad moment in my life.
It was a very sad moment?
Yes, because I had to explain to him that's not how it works.
And how does it work?
Well, we're going to talk about that on tonight's show, Matt, but I did want to start off by thanking everybody out there for joining us on this episode Up for Debate. I know we were on a bit of a hiatus the last couple weeks. Matt and I had some big life stuff going on. I bought and moved into a new house. Matt's started a new school year. We had a lot going on, so thank you for hanging in there. We're back. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Not anytime soon, at least. And I think we got a great episode tonight. Matt, you picked the topic. Why marketing stunts?
Well, Sean, I remember when we, in a recent, not our most recent book talk, but in a book talk, we had previously read the hit video game centered novel, Console Wars.
Yes.
And there were large sections of Console Wars dedicated to talking about the viral marketing campaigns waged between Nintendo and Sega, and then later on with Sony as well. And you're just looking back on Sega's, boisterous, effort to,
Sega!
Yeah, basically just rent out an entire town or an entire Walmart and dedicate it just to the sales of viral marketing. I got me into wanting to read about viral marketing more and kind of research popular viral marketing, things like that. Sorry about that little pause over there. My fiance came into the room to show me a picture on the computer of the incoming storm. For those of you who don't know, here in Virginia, we're expecting a large hurricane. The governor has, in fact, declared a state of emergency.
Now, Matt, I'm starting to think this little interjection is really just viral marketing for the hurricane.
Oh,
Did they
no,
pay
it's for
you
these
for
brand
this?
new hurricane nuts. Come and get these. Imagine a brand of nuts called Hurricane Nuts.
There's hurricane alcohol themed beverages, I know. Tropical
Well, yeah, you've got the Hurricane, the actual mixed drink.
But what products would be good branded as Hurricane? Like a poncho, a rain jacket,
a lawnmower.
Okay. I mean,
tear up your lawn like a hurricane.
I think a tornado might be. I'm thinking because when I think of hurricane, I think of wet, or a slip and slide.
So how about a sprinkler? A sprinkler.
Oh my
system.
God, the hurricane! Oh my God, my lawn's gonna be so damp.
Yep, the hurricane sprinkler system,
or even like an SUV, like the Ford Hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah, except then there would just be all the ironic shots of, the Hurricane Escalade or Honda Hurricane, just covered with water.
Yep, floating away in the middle of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why we've never seen a hurricane and probably never will on a car. Speaking of car news, and I know this is kind of unrelated, but did you hear that Volkswagen is doing away with the Beetle?
I did not hear that. Now, they've reinvented the Beetle a couple times. I even think it went away for a little bit and it came back. They're going away now?
They're set to issue the last Beetle in 2019. So after 2019, no more Beetles.
I'm really beat up about
Volkswagen Beetles. Yeah. Yeah. They did discontinue them and they brought them back. When did they bring them back, Sean? And was it the 90s?
Yeah, so they
early
brought
2000s.
Yeah, so they had the kind of real curvy one in the 90s, early 2000s. Then it went away for a little bit, and then they came back with the new one that's available now, where it's a little more squared off than the revitalized one.
Yeah, geez, I think that's kind of a bummer. Did
Eh.
you know the first car, the Beetle was probably the first car that I could ever remember wanting. And I'm not for those listeners out there, I'm not a very big car guy at all. I'm not one of those like, oh, I love this car because it has this kind of torque, and I don't even know what torque is. I'm really not a car guy, but uh, there were two cars that I wanted when I was a kid: the Volkswagen Beetle and the Honda Odyssey.
You were such a cool kid. Such a cool kid.
I really was. The Beetle, I liked its design, obviously, and I love the punch buggy game. You know, whenever you would see when you'd get to hit somebody and they wouldn't get to hit you back. So I love that. So I wanted to bring more joy to people in the world. So I was like, let me just, if I bought like a red punch buggy, then I could drive around and people would punch each other and say no punchbacks, and that'd be really funny. I'd get to look over. I don't think people do that anymore.
I never see them.
Not.
I never see the Beatles anymore. That's the thing. Like, I can't even recall the last time I saw one.
I think that may just be a hashtag 90s kids thing.
I think I see Mini Coopers more often than I see Beatles.
Did you ever do Padiddle?
I did, but I don't remember what it is. I just remember the name.
Everybody kind of had their own rules for Padiddle. Mine were, at least what I grew up with playing, was if you see a car and one headlight was out, but one headlight was on and functioning, then you got to say Padiddle. And it was the same punch buggy theme. You get to hit somebody and they wouldn't get to hit you back.
I think my sister just wanted to hit me. I think that's what
yeah,
it was. I think she made up the rules.
These are definitely games that the older siblings invented to terrorize younger siblings, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, I thought the Beetle design was pretty cool. And I heard that they were fuel efficient. I don't know if that's true or not, but German engineering, that didn't really apply to me when I was in middle school or elementary school. No. But I just thought they were cool and I wanted one. And then the Honda Odyssey was really just strictly because of the name, because I was a nerd and I loved Greek mythology. That was it.
It's a great name for a car. I mean, there are a lot of bad car names. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. So the Punch Buggy and the Honda Odyssey.
See, I'm not a car guy at all either, but I wanted a Lamborghini because that's a cool car. Now, of course, I think a Beetle is much more obtainable.
Yeah, Sean, that's just typical. That's like
I'm a stereotype.
Such a cliche. A Lamborghini? You wanted a Lambo? Did you want a yellow Lambo?
I wanted a Countach, and a Lamborghini Countach, and unfortunately, I ended up with Hank the Hyundai. But that's okay. Kind of the same thing.
Hyundai is a fine car. It's a fine automobile.
A mighty fine automobile.
Mm-hmm. Can't go wrong with a Hyundai.
Nope. Not at all.
How come they never they could have marketed that name a little better? Like, how come there's no like the Hyundai guys? I feel like they could have that could be their mascot.
What car company has a mascot?
Guys. Hank the Hyundai.
What?
Henry the Hyundai, and they're all like the Hyundai guys. I don't know what they would do, but they're characters. Like the cavemen from the Geico commercials.
Yeah, but no car companies don't really have mascots.
What about the gecko? The Geico gecko?
But that's insurance. That's not a car company.
All right, but it's related to cars.
Come on. No.
There's the Allstate man.
But you remember, I'm trying to think if there was Joe Isuzu way back in the day, before our time. Have you ever heard about Joe Isuzu? This was back when Isuzu was making cars back in the 80s, and they had a spokesman named Joe Isuzu, and he would go on like kind of like a slimy salesman type, and he would say bold-faced lies about the car as like a joke. So like, this car gets 300 miles per gallon. This car never breaks down. This car, and he would just say lies, and he was a big popular character.
Wasn't Pazuzu? Isn't that a demon? Like a demon king?
I don't know if they're related.
In like Babylonian mythology?
I think you're right. I don't know if that's...
That's it. The Exorcist. You ever watch The Exorcist, Sean?
No.
In the movie The Exorcist, the demon that possesses the little girl is Pazuzu.
Oh. Isuzu missed a good chance for a product placement there.
You think they did? They sure did. The demon-possessed girl could have driven away in a Pazuzu.
A brand new Isuzu, yeah. Yeah, it's
The
amazing
two
they went out
priests
of
that
business.
the exorcist priests that show up at her house could have been driving a Pazuzu mobile.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Um, but that's okay. I think they got enough product placement in The Exorcist. There's that scene when, she turns her head all the way around 300 and she comes back in and then she says, snap into a Slim Jim. Remember that part?
Someone needs to edit that in. It's very funny. There is a service, this is 100% true, that will take old episodes of like sitcoms, like How I Met Your Mother and Everybody Loves Raymond and stuff. And you'll notice in the background of the characters, if there's like a billboard or something, in reruns, they actually put new ads behind the characters in the reruns.
Oh, really?
So like if there's a movie coming out that weekend, even though the episode aired 10 years ago, the ad for the movie will be behind the characters in the show.
That's wild.
It's crazy.
I don't like that. That's...
Because you're like, the
like
characters are in
revisionist to me.
2005. How are they going to see the Avengers? Like, this does not make any sense.
I would be very confused.
Yeah.
Like, what do they do it like in Friends? Like, if they're walking by, I don't know, a billboard or something, it'll be. Imagine if they advertised the series finale for a show in that show.
I would love
it. But it's from an earlier season.
Yep. Stay tuned for more Friends, but it's on Friends.
Yeah.
You're like, wait,
the Seinfeld series finale premieres Wednesday on a billboard.
Do they know
it's
they're
like
on
Kramer
TV?
and George walking down the street? That if any show were to do that, I think it would have to be either Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm or
somebody who gets the joke.
Mm-hmm. Very meta. It's
that's what the kids call it.
A very meta show. So, all right. Marketing stunts.
Yes.
Who you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Well, what are we defining a marketing stunt as?
Yeah, good point. Let's set some ground rules first. Okay, so in my research, what I did was, I basically, this is what I try to do whenever we do things like this. Is I try to take the inverse of what I expect you're gonna take. Of course, we never talk about it beforehand.
Nope.
So what I anticipate, it's like a chess match, Sean. I anticipated that you would look up, the best viral marketing events out there. The ones that really like bowled people over.
Sure.
That just knocked it out of the park. Yeah. So obviously I looked up the worst viral marketing. The ones that totally fell flat right on their face and humiliated the company and everyone associated.
That's so funny, Matt, because I also played a chess match with you, and I assume, because I know Matt almost better than anybody, let's be real, and I said, this guy, he's going to look up the best marketing stunts, so I should look up the worst marketing stunts.
Well, the joke's on you, Sean, because while you were playing chess, I was actually playing a different game of chess where I thought that you were going to think that I was going to look up the negative ads. So I thought that you thought that. So what I thought was to look up, maybe I'll look up both. So I have a kind of a mixed bag of both.
Matt, there's so many people
listening. Really go either way.
There's so many people listening to this who are like, I waited 6 weeks to come back to this. What are they talking about? No, let's go ahead and dig in, Matt. Do you want me to go first or should you?
Yeah. You jump right in.
Well, I have one that's not necessarily a bad one, but it's a recent one, and that's why I thought to do it. We all remember summer of 2018. Sun was out. People were having a good time. Everything was fine in the world. No crisis whatsoever. And a little-known International House of Pancakes decided they were going to get out of the pancake game and into the burger game. IHOB. Do you remember IHOB, Matt?
IHOP. Yes, I do.
It seems so long ago.
Yeah. That was less than a year ago, right?
Yep. It was this summer. Like it was literally 2 months ago.
It was over. Yeah, it was in the beginning of the summer, right? Early summer.
Yep.
June.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, they came out. They first said they were changing their name to IHOB, but didn't say what the B was for. And there was rampant internet speculation, and it turns out they were going to be International House of Burgers, and then they're already back to being International House of Pancakes.
Yes.
It did not last.
That I have my own theories about this marketing ploy here. Okay. I first heard about IHOB on a radio ad, and this is when they were still teasing it, and they weren't going to share what the B was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so my first theory is that this was a plan that they had set in motion before April 1st. They were going to release it as like an April Fool's Day joke, similar to other viral campaigns.
Sure.
Many, countless, maybe perhaps too many have taken place on April Fool's Day in the past. And I thought the B, then I thought the B was going to be revealed to be bananas. And I thought they were going to do like banana pancakes,
banana promotion,
banana pudding, and things like that. And
sure.
I was like, okay, like that'll probably get people to file in place. Then they revealed the B to in fact be burgers, International House of Burgers. People started losing their shit all over Twitter, all over social media. Now, this is June, right? This is summer. Okay, so it's grilling weather, it's burger weather. I thought, all right, did you tell everyone how the promotion ended? How they kind of resolved things?
Well, they just went back to being International House of Pancakes.
Right, and they played it off like a joke.
Yeah.
They played it off like they were just kidding. Matter of fact, there was a commercial where they're like, we were just kidding about the burgers thing. I don't think they were kidding, Sean. I think that they seriously wanted to beef up, pun intended, to beef up their burger menu. And I think that the backlash was so strong, people thought they were legitimately rebranding. And I think to a degree, they might have even thought that they were rebranding themselves as International House of Burgers. And I think people just got so PO'd that they were like, okay, let's pretend this was all a joke. Let's just tell them it was a joke. We'll go back to being IHOP that everybody knows and loves. And that'll be that. So I don't think it was a joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna disagree with you, and here's why. And I know this from experience. When you change a company's name, it is insanely expensive because you have to reprint every menu, change every uniform, update every sign, change the website, to change the name of IHOP to IHOB would literally cost them, and I'm just making this up, but it wouldn't surprise me if it cost them $50 million. Just to change the name.
Oh, yeah, like logos and...
Oh, sure. My God, you have to literally change everything. And so what I'm thinking is they said... People think we're just... Because when I first heard IHOB, I thought it was going to be International House of Breakfast, and that they were just going to promote we're more than pancakes. We have all breakfast options. And then that was going to be perhaps a permanent change, or I didn't know. But what's great about this promotion is that they basically said, look, we need people in there at times that aren't breakfast, lunch and dinner, right? Which they serve. They're International House of Pancakes. And so... this was just a ploy to get free awareness for the fact that they have burgers. They had burgers before. It's not that they have always had burgers. Now maybe they tweaked them for this promotion. They've always had burgers. But and we'll talk about this throughout all these viral marketing stunts, your goal is to just get as much awareness for free as humanly possible. That is it. That is the single goal. It doesn't even have to be good awareness. You just want to get as much of it as possible and for as cheaply as possible. And so they said, we're going to tell everybody we're changing the name. We're definitely not changing the name. But if it gets them talking about it, hey, let's do it. I mean, that's what all these companies do on April Fools. The only trick they did was they just didn't do it at that time of year in an effort to convince people it was real. So I don't think they were ever going to actually change it to IHOB. It was a temporary promotion. But I think it also went much more wildly successful than they had anticipated. So I think it was great. I think it was actually really smart of them to do. Because now, even a year from now, people will remember IHOP has pancake, or has burgers. IHOP has burgers.
Okay. Maybe rebranding was too strong of a theory. Maybe IHOP, what they were trying to, maybe instead of like rebranding everything, maybe they were just kind of re-envisioning their image or something like that.
Sure.
My take is that they were genuine. That this was a genuine attempt to kind of restructure the philosophy of their brand. I think that not like they were going to stop all pancakes or discontinue pancakes, but I think that they really were. They were coming from a place of sincerity when they were trying to put burgers on the map. Maybe they weren't. Maybe it was just a marketing attempt to say like, we do have burgers also. Like we have a burger menu too. You don't have to just come here for pancakes. But I thought I envisioned someone in the company, higher up in the company, setting out and saying, looking at like Hardee's, In-N-Out, Shake Shack, and saying,
Oh, sure.
we could do that too.
Well, burger's
we
the
could
most
do that
popular
too.
fast food item in America. I mean, I don't think that's a surprising route
Saying
to go
that,
down.
yeah. I'm not. I mean, obviously, I don't think it worked out the way that they had hoped, but
I think it worked out
that
better
was
than did you think it wasn't a successful promotion?
I don't think it was what they. I don't think it was what they envisioned. I don't actually really know the numbers, but I don't know. I just know it didn't work on me. I have yet to have eaten an IHOP burger.
But
Maybe I'm missing out. I don't know.
But again, do you know how much they spent on the IHOP promotion? I don't. It can't have been much because it was
Probably
all
not much.
free publicity. It was the news talking about it. It was Twitter talking about it. It's us talking about it. That's the thing about a viral marketing campaign. It doesn't have to sell burgers. The trick is that if a year from now you go to an IHOP because you know you can get more than breakfast, then it worked. Even if you didn't buy a burger this summer, that's okay. It's the same, a good example, and I promise we won't get political, but the Nike Colin Kaepernick thing, where it's like, it's not about the message, it's about just people, it's buzz. All you want is people talking about it. It doesn't matter what the product is or even if they buy it. Because eventually, if you build up enough awareness, the theory is it converts into a sale. So in that respect, I do think for whatever they paid for it, it wasn't, if they had bought commercials to get that much awareness, it would have cost them $1 zillion. So on that respect, I think are people going to go there and get the burgers? I don't think so. I mean, when you talk about rebranding, I do think that they've probably discussed, well, how do we make it more than breakfast? I think International House of Food or, Denny's is a good name where it's kind of like, well, we have all sorts of stuff. I do think they have a name problem in general, but I just think this was a specific burger promotion that worked out really well for them. They probably sold a bunch of burgers and got a ton of free press. So, that's kind of a good hallmark of any marketing stunt.
Right. Definitely generating buzz, and it did its job. It generated buzz. Just to close out, the reason that I thought that the B was going to be for International House of Bananas, just you have fall with pumpkin flavored things,
Sure.
and now maple. It seems like maple is starting to make its way into the fall flavor category. You have winter peppermint and things like that. I think that they were trying to corner a niche on like bananas for summer. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe International House of Breakfast. That might have been a good assumption as well. But
see, I think
International House of Burgers.
I think for 4th of July they should be American House of Pancakes AHOP.
Yeah, I think that would be a great promotion.
Keep changing your name. Why not?
Yeah. Should we move on to the next?
Yeah. What do you got?
Next one. Okay, so I was gonna do a different one, but I want to do this one to start out,
okay.
and I will go back to the second one in a minute. But I really would like to talk about. I would like to talk to you about Jägermeister.
Oh, the fine folks at Jägermeister. Not a sponsor, though we would be interested.
Well, sure we would. Jägermeister. Did you know that? Did you hear about the marketing stunt that they did in Mexico? I'm trying to get a date on it. It was.
I think I know what one you're talking about. I don't want to spoil it, but I think I know what one you're talking about.
It was I think a couple years back. So basically, what they did was there was a pool party in Mexico.
Yep.
And Leon, Mexico. Jägermeister hosted this giant pool party where so you have a pool and they poured liquid nitrogen into the pool. They wanted to make like the smoke rising out of it, and they were going to have a bunch of employees to jump into the pool. I guess employees and fans. And it was gonna be like a big Jägermeister pool party, and it was the sponsors were there and signs everywhere, posters, bikini-clad women, all sponsoring their brand, Jägermeister. And what happens is, um, the the staff decided to pour liquid nitrogen to make the smoky effect. Well, when you mix that, apparently they didn't have a chemist on hand, because when you mix liquid nitrogen with chlorine, you get a specific kind of poison. You get I'm going to cheat and look it up.
Nitrogen trichloride.
There you go. Nitrogen trichloride. Yeah, which is toxic and can very easily kill people. Matter of fact, it has been used in chemical warfare as a noxious gas. So, obviously, people got very, very sick. People started passing out, and they had to hospitalize 8 people, with one person ending up in an 18-day coma.
Yep.
Yikes! At a hospital. So, really not a this is one of those instances of a very this is one of those instances, I guess, of a well thought out but not well executed viral marketing plan.
Yeah, this seems like something I would do.
Or I guess I wouldn't even call it a viral. It's not really viral marketing, but it's, they probably figured that the video would surface on social media and people would share it, and it'd be be easy,
well, sounds
free
like a cool
advertising.
pool. I mean, if I wish my pool had liquid nitrogen fog all over it, that'd be sweet.
Sure.
But I just don't want to be poisoned.
Yes, this is one that maybe they should have done a little more research on.
Yep. Well, that reminds me, I don't remember the details, I just know this off the top of my head, but there was a famous case many, many years ago of a local radio station that held a contest to see how long you could sit bare-assed on a big chunk of ice, and whoever lasted the longest won some kind of large prize. But they accidentally bought dry ice instead of regular ice, and if you've ever used dry ice, it is beyond cold. It's like liquid nitrogen. It's insanely cold. You're not supposed to touch it with your bare hands. People literally, they sat on it, and they literally had the skin removed from their nether regions and had to go to the hospital and were seriously injured.
Yeah, that's just an instance of real stupidity. And,
it's a good takeaway. Safety first on your marketing stunts. They're called stunts for a reason. They can be dangerous.
Absolutely. Well, very well put. Well put, Sean.
Always check the scene for safety, Matt.
Yeah, I can see that this hiatus really
I got a new
really
perspective.
did wonders. Sure did. It really did.
Yep.
All right. Do you have another one?
I do. Matt, are you familiar with the concept of an alternate reality game, an ARG?
Yes. I've watched a couple of YouTube documentaries about these things.
Yeah, it's a newer phenomenon in marketing where essentially you just create a game in reality to market your product. And so Halo famously did it. A lot of video games do it, where it's like you have to call a secret phone number and they give you a code, and you have to find a secret website, and then it's like GPS coordinates. You have to go there and there's a letter there. It's like a puzzle. The whole internet has to work together and solved, but it's all based in reality for a product you might buy. Very popular. A lot of companies are now doing it. They're very expensive. They take a lot of time to plan. Toyota did one a number of years ago to promote the Toyota Matrix called The Other You. And the way it would work is you would sign up an unwitting and unknowing friend. And that friend would get stalked by a stranger. The way it would work, and this is a true story, a Los Angeles woman, I'm sure one of many who this happened to, started receiving threatening emails, a link to a fake MySpace page, a fake bill in her name for trashed hotel rooms. It lasted for 5 days. It scared her enough that she went to her family for protection, suffered health and job performance issues, and filed a $10 million lawsuit against Toyota.
Which I hope she won.
There is no conclusion listed in the article.
Well, even if she didn't win, I'm sure she walked away with a nice chunk of change for that. Because that's ludicrous. That's now why didn't she go to the? Did she go to the police at any
She did.
point?
So this
Okay.
is from 2009. So here's the details from the article. According to her lawsuit, she received emails for 5 days from a fictitious man called Sebastian Bowler from England, who said he was on the run from the law, knew her and where she lived, and was coming to her home to hide from the police. There was even a fake MySpace page for this Bowler character. Though Bowler did not have her current address, he sent her links to his MySpace page, as well as to video links of him causing trouble all over the country on his way to her house in Los Angeles. In one email, he wrote, "Ambermate, coming to Los Angeles, gonna lay low at your place for a bit till it all blows over." They even sent the woman a bill for damages the fictitious man supposedly made to a hotel room. The harassment lasted for 5 days and frightened her so much she contacted neighbors, friends, and families, and eventually the police.
I have so many questions about this. I'm going to try to put them. I'm going to try to remember all of them and put them in an order that I can. Okay. Number one, what the hell? Like, what does this have to do with Toyota? That's
Honestly,
number one. Is like where does the product come into the market? Like, where is the marketing in this marketing stunt? Okay, so you're threatening somebody. The guy's name, it's not like his name's not John Toyota or John Ford or something like the rival of Toyota, and then a Toyota saves the girl. Or did he pull up to her house in a Toyota? And like where's the product?
yeah, where were they even going to sell the product? I've read this whole
yeah.
article. Doesn't it literally does not say.
What is the end game, I guess, is another question. Is where would this have ended? Had she not panicked and called the police, where would it have ended? Would they have actually gone through with hiring some kind of actor to come to her house and trash it or something?
It truly
Or
does
threaten
not
her?
say.
That's what I would believe. I mean, it just seems like they would hire an actor to come to her house, threaten her, possibly at gunpoint with like a fake gun or something, and hold her hostage or something. Like this just seems like it's like somebody was trying to get away with a crime. And they disguised it as a
Marketing stunt.
as a marketing stunt. So that's number one. Number two, what kind of did the friend know this was going to happen, or was it just like sign your friend up for a cool marketing stunt, or we'll prank your friend? Did they go into detail about this at all? Did Toyota go into any kind of detail of sit the friend down and say, this is what we're going to do to your friend. We're going to stalk them. We're going to send threatening emails to them, and we're going to come to their house. Like,
Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. None of that. Now, I did pull up a little research here as a follow up, and according to the internet, her lawsuit did go to trial, but it was eventually dismissed. She did not win.
she didn't get anything?
She didn't get anything.
She probably just had a crappy lawyer.
Probably. Companies usually win these types of lawsuits.
I mean, I would think there would be some kind of settlement or some kind of hush-hush, even if it's only a couple thou. Like,
They really thought they were going to win it. So
even if it's
maybe-
just to cover legal fees.
I don't know if they turned down I mean, they claimed that she gave some type of opt-in at some point in the process. She claimed she didn't. I tend to believe her, but yeah, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. This would freak me the hell out.
Sure.
That is
Sure.
so messed up.
And all of the augmented reality games that I've seen have been really cool, and like they seem like they're a lot of fun to participate in.
They're not usually about you as an individual like it's more about the game or whatever it is that you're working on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. I've seen the ones where there are notes hidden throughout a city. They send you on some kind of cool scavenger hunt, but it's like it's more of an interactive thing where you have to wait by a phone and the phone will ring. And back when they used to have pay phones, I guess. And then you go to a park and you have to sit at this bench and a guy will drop off a packet. Like cool stuff like
it's
that.
fun.
This is a terrifying augmented reality. This reminds me of those, like, have you heard of the hired, like, paid kidnappers? where they're not like real kidnappers, but you can pay a large. Rich people do it because
Yep.
I don't know, they have too much money. I guess they pay a lot of money to get themselves kidnapped
Yep.
because they want to experience the real terror and horror of getting kidnapped.
Yep.
But I don't know why anyone would do that, but they do exist. And matter of fact, there was a story not too long ago that a CEO of a, no, maybe it wasn't the CEO, but there was like a manager of a company who got himself like he had like an actual hostage situation acted out in his workplace, and it was part of a like a training drill, or it was like a bonding activity for his workers. But I don't know. Augmented reality can be kind of scary.
Just don't surprise. Advertising shouldn't surprise people. You should know you're being marketed to. It shouldn't be that subtle.
Agreed. And it should never lead to scary places.
Nope.
Here's a fun one for you, Sean.
What do you got?
Sean, are you a fan of rock and roll music?
That's kind of a broad question, but
Do you like to hear that rock and roll music? Any old way you choose it?
Boy, do I.
All right. So, are you familiar with a rock and roll band by the name of Guns N' Roses?
Oh boy, both the Guns and the Roses.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Dr. Pepper marketing stunt that is associated with Guns N' Roses?
Vaguely.
All right. So, for those that are not in the know, we're going to rewind the clock back to 1994. The year is 1994. Guns N' Roses makes an announcement that they're coming out with a new album, an album by the name of Chinese Democracy. Now, that might sound like a familiar album, and that's because the album did not come out in 1994. It did not come out in 1994. It did not come out in 1996. Matter of fact, it didn't come out in the 90s at all, Sean. You know when Chinese Democracy finally came out?
No.
Finally was released? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But we're going to fast forward the clock, okay? We're now in the springtime of the year of our Lord, 2008. Okay?
Great year.
This is a total 12 years after Guns N' Roses makes that announcement. Now, keep that in the back of your head. Guns N' Roses announces this album, Chinese Democracy, is going to come out in 1996. It's now 2008. The album still has not been released. Dr. Pepper launches a marketing campaign in the spring of 2008 where they announced that they would give a free can of Dr. Pepper to every American citizen. Everyone in the United States of America would receive a free can of Dr. Pepper if Guns N' Roses releases Chinese Democracy, that album that was promised 12 years ago. Okay? They were so confident that they would give a free can of Dr. Pepper to everyone. Okay? So, obviously, Guns N' Roses is washed up at this point. There's talks that they may have broken up. They completely disappear from the music scene. They tour on occasion, but nothing really major. So Dr. Pepper thinks it's going to get off scot-free with this. Sean, I bet you could guess the ending of this story. I bet our listeners out there could guess the ending of the story.
It's pretty obvious what's going to happen, Matt. They don't release the album.
Couldn't be more wrong. They do release the album, Sean. This might surprise you. They released the album, Chinese Democracy, that was promised 12 years prior. And and Dr. Pepper is completely screwed for the most part. So now they have to give away hundreds of millions of free cans because they promised it to everyone. They said that every American would get a free can of Dr. Pepper. Everyone. So what do? Well, they do what any, reasonable company would do in this situation. They honor their claim and they mail, they bite the bullet and they decide to mail a can of Dr. Pepper to every single American in the country.
Nice.
Except that's not what they do, Sean.
No, what? You really had me faked out there for a minute.
what they actually do is they set up a website. They set up a website where you had to apply for your can of Dr. Pepper, and you had to fill out a lengthy survey that could prove that you were in fact a citizen of the United States. You had to submit all this paperwork, and they basically made it as complicated as possible. People went on there. They actually did want Dr. Pepper to honor their claim. At this point, it became news. It was all over the back then. I guess it would be the MySpace. Facebook was a thing, sort of, in its very early stages. The website crashed. Millions and millions of people went on trying to claim their free can of Dr. Pepper. I think at that point it was really just to prove a point to the company. And maybe people really did. I mean, everybody loves free stuff. I would have done it if I had known about it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Dr. Pepper never gave everyone free cans of pepper. They hid behind some kind of legality clause. And Axl Rose sued the company.
Oh my god!
Axl Rose, lead singer of Guns N' Roses, sued the company for lying.
I hope he won.
That I don't know. But that I can look up. We'll see if he was more successful than that lady in the Toyota case. Hopefully, he probably could afford a better lawyer. So I would hope that he won.
Well, I hope he wins, and his sort of his reward for that is everyone in America gets a second can of Dr. Pepper.
That's absolutely what he should have sued for. Yes. Or a Dr. Pepper T-shirt.
Yep.
Except that's free marketing, advertising.
Yeah. No, that's a bonkers story. You know, you never want to run a contest where you can't pay out the prize. You got to know better. No matter how outlandish or ridiculous it is, you got to be able to pay out that prize. Now, Matt, while you're looking that up, did you know, this is interesting, a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
But we see these kinds of promotions all the time, whether it's a game show or a company. You see like, steal a base in the World Series and everyone gets a free taco, right? I'm sure you've seen that. They do those contests all the time, but do you ever wonder how they actually execute on that? Well, there's something called prize indemnity insurance. And what these companies do is they actually buy insurance against the prize. So they pay a small fee for another company to worry about, it's like buying insurance on your home or something. And they hope they never have to pay it out. But if they do, the company's not on the hook, the insurance company is. They usually charge between 3 and 15% of the possible payout. And they handle it for them. But the way it works is all these companies actually have computed the odds of winning. And then that's how they charge the company for it. So that's why in this article I found, it's the odds of a randomly... So you ever see a half-court shot at a basketball game?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what the odds of a randomly selected contestant making one of those is 50-1? And that's how they use it to compute the prize. So they assume every 50 times one person will win. And so there's a lot of math that goes into it. It's the same with, it says here, the odds of a hole-in-one is about 2,500-1 in golf. So it says here in one insurance company, the cost of a $25,000 hole-in-one prize with 100 players is $539. So you pay a premium. The company ends up making money because few people win, but when they do win, they pay it out. So you kind of buy insurance for it. It's quite interesting.
That is interesting. That's something I never knew. This insurance. What did you call it again?
Prize indemnity insurance.
Prize indemnity insurance.
It says here, instead of keeping cash reserves to cover large prizes, the promoter or company pays a premium to an insurance company, which then reimburses the insured should a prize be given away.
So here's an update. I believe that what happened to this lawsuit, in case anybody cares, is that I think Axl Rose eventually just dropped it. Just kind of dropped it. he had successfully humiliated the company enough, and
Yeah,
I don't think he really needed the money.
he
So
got his revenge.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it just went away. That's that's how that's how that soda can exploded. Um, Sean, I believe this is your turn now.
It is my
To
turn.
Yeah, let's hear another one.
And Matt, I'm going to talk about a real doozy of a stunt. And this is a
Oh, wait.
stunt. Yes.
I'm sorry. I did want to add one thing to the Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
Since we're kind of analyzing the outcomes here. Would you consider the Dr. Pepper incident, would you consider that successful or unsuccessful or both?
I would say it's successful in getting attention, but overall unsuccessful because you don't want to. Worst case, you just want them to not care. You don't actively want to piss them off. You can't. IHOP worked because it was just okay. IHOP has burgers. They weren't promising me a free burger. They weren't. As soon as you promise someone something and you don't deliver on it, you're disappointing your customers. So yeah, they got their name out there. They got some promotion, but I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't necessarily call it a success. I think if they had been, okay. I think if they successfully had gotten those coupons out for the free soda, then it would have been a huge win for them.
Right. Okay. I mean, you're definitely the expert in this, in this for really this entire episode. Because you're the marketing guy, and you know, this is what you've researched. This is what
just an opinion, Matt.
You are a learned scholar in this subject. Compared to me, I know basically nothing about this. I'm venturing into uncharted waters.
Matt, marketing is just ideas, and I know you're full of them.
The ideas, man. This stunt, when I first heard about it, I got to be honest, I thought that it was a successful one because it got people like you said before, it got people talking about the brand. It got people talking about Dr. Pepper. They made this wild claim that was connected to, you know, a cultural subgenre, Guns N' Roses music. So, I figured this would be like an instance of a successful event, a successful occurrence. But I can definitely see where you were right. I mean, they ended up completely embarrassed.
And I'm sure it cost them a ton of money too. That's the other thing. A good marketing stunt viral campaign should not be exorbitantly expensive because then you could have just bought a bunch of commercials and billboards.
Right.
You know, the whole point is you're getting a lot for a little. And yes. I think I have to imagine with all of the various, you know, lawsuits and website and kind of all the different stuff they had to do, I can't imagine it was very cost effective. So.
Part of me likes to think that Axl Rose released Chinese Democracy that year just to screw over Dr. Pepper. I know that's probably not true. I know it was probably just an incredible coincidence. I mean, I feel like one of three things could have happened, right? Number one, it's a ridiculous coincidence. Chinese Democracy comes out the same year that Dr. Pepper makes this outrageous claim that they'll give a free can away if the album is released that year. All right, so complete coincidence is number one. Number two, Axl Rose wants to screw over the company, Dr. Pepper, so he pushes the album. Maybe it was in the works. Maybe it was on the verge of coming out anyway. It could have been 08, could have been 09, could have been 07 or 10. Pushes it, gets it released, whatever. Option three. You know, it could have been someone in the company is in the know, and they know that they have word that
interesting
from someone in the music industry that they're releasing Dr. Pepper that year, and maybe this was a way to parlay a tie-in that never happened, or some kind of connection. Maybe Dr. Pepper's people. That's a nice little word game for you. Dr. Pepper's people were supposed to contact Axl Rose to set something up, and they never did. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere, and all of a sudden they make this claim, pisses off Rose, who's already set to release the album. Who knows? But just another example of wacky, crazy marketing. All right, Sean. Now on with your next bit. You seem very excited about it.
I'm going to go quick because we are running out. We spent a bunch of time talking about the Beatles, so we're a little behind on time, but that's okay. Matt, September 22nd or 27th, 1986. The city. Cleveland, Ohio. Okay? Cleveland, known for, they've had a number of bad marketing stunts. We can talk about 10 Cent Beer Night another time. Great melee there. But the United Way in Cleveland decides they're going to try and break the world record for the largest simultaneous release of helium-filled balloons. They called it Balloon Fest, and they inflated 1.5 million balloons under a big net. Okay? And sure enough, they pull the string, they release the balloons. It looks really cool. The problem, Matt, is that balloons don't stay in the air forever. They eventually come down. Especially on a day when it rains, which they were not planning for. It rained hard. Pushed the balloons back down so much that the city was covered under a layer of balloons. The local airport had to shut down. A woman's prize horses panicked at the sight and injured themselves, resulting in a $100,000 settlement.
Wait. Did you say a woman's prized horse?
That's what this article says.
A woman's prized horse panicked?
Yes, at the sight of the balloons and injured.
At the sight of the balloons?
And got injured.
And injured people?
Injured itself.
Oh, the prized horse was injured.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Resulting in a settlement.
Go on like a rampage. Okay.
Not that I know of.
Because that would be like a very 18th century thing to happen. Like this horse got startled and terrorized the town. 7 people injured. Oh, that is very tragic, though. I feel bad for the horse.
Oh, it gets worse.
Okay.
And I'm going to put up on screen here. There is a great mini documentary on YouTube about this that you have to see, because just the video of the balloons being everywhere is bananas. But right when they were launching the balloon, the Coast Guard out in the bay next to Cleveland was undergoing a search and rescue mission for 2 drowning boaters who were in the water. Turns out, a bunch of balloons floating on the surface of the water look like heads.
Oh no.
And by the time they eventually found them, they had long since drowned.
Oh my, wow.
I kid you not. The United Way ended up facing a $3.2 million lawsuit from the widow of one of the boaters. They later settled for an undisclosed sum. And Cleveland's been marred by it ever since. Absolutely insane.
That is terrible. So what was the promotion here? What were the balloons promoting again?
The United Way.
Okay.
A charity.
So this was a charity. Okay.
Yes. So it's not really a marketing stunt necessarily, but it is kind of a promotion stunt.
Sure. Yeah.
And just a horrifically bad idea.
Yes, and of course they even though it's not really directly a marketing stunt, they're still stuck with the consequences of what they did. Yep. Same way a company would have.
It looked really cool. I have to say, all those balloons going up look really cool. But immediately, you have to know, as soon as they released them, there was some guy on the ground who's like, "Shit, we didn't think of this part." Whoops.
Yeah, I'm sure there were a whole team of people that, as they were watching those balloons go up, didn't think of the consequences. Now it makes me really want to watch this documentary. Do you have a name of it?
I don't. It's only 5 or 10 minutes. It's not long, and it's mostly the. Okay. Here, I will send to you. We don't really have show notes, so I can't share. Just people can Google it, but I'll put in the Slack, Matt, an article from Cleveland.com that recaps the event, and you can read it at your leisure. Yeah, Balloon Fest 1986, and there's some awesome photos in there, and a play-by-play of what happened. You can check that out.
Unreal.
So that's my Matt. Matt, we are low on time. We can do one more if you've got it.
No, that's okay. I think I hit. Well, I was going to talk a little bit about something that I think we've talked about on this show actually before.
Oh my God, I have one we've sort of talked about on the show before. I'm going to laugh if it's the same one.
I can almost guarantee, Sean. Is it New Coke? Were you going to talk about New Coke?
No, it wasn't New Coke. I was going to talk about the XFL blimp that famously crashed.
Oh. Okay.
Which I know we talked about.
I like
briefly.
yours better. Let's talk about. We all know about New Coke.
New Coke is, and actually, Matt, there's a really great book on New Coke we can do for the book club, just if you're interested. That I've read, that's very good. But no, the famous when they launched the XFL in 2001, Vince McMahon bought an XFL blimp and flew it over an NFL game in Oakland, an Oakland Raiders game. On its way back to the Oakland airport, bad weather forced its pilots to abandon it because it was out of control, and it crashed into a marina and deflated. So this big it says XFL on the side of the blimp. It crashed into a marina, deflated, caused $2.5 million worth of damage on the seaside restaurant, and had a fantastic image of the XFL literally crashing and burning into as in a deflated blimp.
Okay, so the XFL's metaphor blimp there.
Yep, a very shining example of what was to come.
I don't know I don't know which one is a better image of the XFL. Is it the crashing and burning blimp with its name and logo plastered on it, or is it the very first play when instead of having a coin toss,
the scramble,
the scramble where they race each other to try to get the ball, pick up the ball, and they just slam their heads right into each other and both immediately get concussed.
Yep.
I don't know which one is a better image and more fitting of the XFL and its spirit. But maybe our listeners can weigh in on that. If you'd like to let us know.
You betcha.
So yeah, that's about it. I mean, we've talked about New Coke before. Do we want to get into like specifics about New Coke?
The thing about New Coke is it's we could do a whole episode on New Coke. I mean, New Coke was a big story and a big push for the company, a real radical change for them. But one thing a lot of people don't realize is Coke at the time was undergoing big management changes. They had just bought a movie studio. They owned Columbia Pictures for a little while. They just didn't know what to do with their lives. Pepsi was kicking their ass, so they were a little bit desperate. And it's true. They conducted the market research. The market told them they loved New Coke, and it's just an example of you don't mess with a beloved classic, or at least claim something is better. I think if they had just changed old Coke without telling anybody, I don't think people would have noticed. But you don't go out saying New Coke better than old Coke. Not going to fly. Sure.
We really could do a whole episode about this. This is a very interesting story.
I have a good book on the whole New Coke saga that, if we're interested, I think would make a good book club read.
Sure.
Something to think about.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll talk about this after the show.
There you go. All right, Matt. We're going to wrap it up here unless you got anything else you want to say.
That's about it. I think a lot of these viral marketing campaigns that we talked about today kind of blew up in smoke. I don't really know did we talk about any successful viral marketing campaigns?
IHOB,
I think the most successful was the IHOB, yeah. So this one could be the failed. Maybe we want to come back next week and talk about more successful ones.
I think the ruinous ones are more fun. They're more fun to talk because they're embarrassing.
Sure. I mean, just a one-note one that I can quickly remember. Do you? I mean, you're a Mass guy. You're a Boston or Massachusetts guy. You remember the viral marketing they did? I think it was for Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, with those LED boards, yeah.
The LED boards in the tunnel, right?
Yep.
Oh, I remember watching that on the news unfold when people thought it was a bomb. Yeah.
Well, and that was. What time? I'm trying to think of what time. Was that like around 2000?
It was right. I think it was.
Oh, it was 2007.
It was 9/11.
It was 2007, so it was later. But still.
All right, it was later than I thought. I thought it was like a year or two after 9/11, but okay, 2007. That sounds right.
Yep.
Still.
Yeah, no.
It was that 9/11 era mentality. The 2000s.
I know Turner Broadcasting, who owns Aqua Teen Hunger Force, had to pay $1 million each to the Boston Police and the Department of Homeland Security. But again, they did get a lot of publicity out of it.
Oh, they did, yeah. I hadn't even heard of Aqua Teen Hunger Force before that.
You know, can you buy that kind of publicity? I don't think so.
No way.
Matt, that's going to do it for us tonight. I think we had a banger of a time, I would dare say. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Before I get to our own plugs, I want to plug some of the other projects Matt and I work on. You definitely, if you haven't checked out Don't Panic, it's a great show. I highly recommend it. Myself, Colby, and Dan talk about tech news every week. Subscribe now, because this coming week, we're going to do a full rundown of everything Apple just announced last week. The XS, XS Max, the XR, the new Apple Watch. We're going to talk about all of it. It's a real treat. That's at don'tpanic.io or anywhere you get podcasts. Just search Don't Panic. I would also say you should check out myself and Matt playing Dungeons and Dragons along with Colby and Dan over at GameNights.tv. A new episode will come out eventually, I promise. Moving really slow down my editing, but we're going to get there. So subscribe now at GameNights.tv and you'll get new episodes when they come out. We're right in the middle of a great streak, Matt. I think you'd agree. We're hot as ever. So now's a good time to join.
Absolutely. Catch up on all the fun. I do envy those listeners out there that can listen to us play D&D like one right after the other, because we do go through long droughts sometimes, it seems, where there's no D&D. But hopefully we'll get back into it soon.
Yeah, and I'm told I was talking with our DM, and we're getting close to some really exciting stuff. So now's a great time to hop on at GameNights.tv. Of course, this show, Up for Debate.tv, we will be back next week, I promise. No more long hiatuses. Subscribe to the show there. Get all the past episodes there. Catch up. Plenty to listen to. You can get the podcast audio version anywhere you get podcasts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're there. And the video version on YouTube as well. And, of course, you can follow us at Up for Debate TV on Twitter. And email us upforDebate@gmail.com. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We'll see you next time for good times and discussion here on Up for Debate.